Last week, the U.S. began flying hundreds of migrants, mostly from Asian, Middle Eastern, and African countries, to Panama. And as the New York Times reports, a large number of those migrants have been trapped in a hotel in Panama City. With us now, one of the reporters to break this story, the New York Times' Julie Turkowitz. She joins us from Bogota this morning. Julie, great seeing you. You spoke to some of the migrants at the hotel that, well, they're not, I guess journalists aren't allowed into that hotel, but you spoke with some of the migrants. What'd you learn?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And I just want to add an update that actually just last night, these folks who've been deported from the United States to Panama and were locked in this hotel that you see there were transported to a camp near the Darien jungle. And there's about 100 of them, including 8 children, who are now at that jungle camp. Working with my colleagues, I'm working with several other colleagues who have a broad variety of language skills and have been able to speak. All of us have been able to speak to a group of these people who have said that they are being held against their will. They came to the United States to seek asylum, were swiftly deported by the United States, and wound up in Panama, never expecting, of course, to be there.
And Julie, do we know how many in total have been deported from the United States and into Panama?
300 people have been deported from the U.S. to Panama. 170 or so of them have told the International Organization for Migration, which is working with the Panamanian government, that they are willing to go back to their countries. And so the IOM is working with the Panamanian government to facilitate that. And another 100 or so of them have said, no, we don't feel that it's safe to go back to our countries. And those are the folks who have now been transferred to this camp by the Panamanian jungle.
And so, Julie, I mean, they're just being transferred to a camp. Any indication by Panamanian authorities or anybody on what their fate is? I mean, why do you send them from Panama City, the capital, which, you know, has an international airport, et cetera, to a camp in the Darien area?
The Panamanian government has said that it was its plan to send some folks to this camp. It's not 100% clear why they would send them to this camp, but we know that for some nationalities, it's very difficult to send people back to their home, either because the governments don't want to accept them or because they don't have paperwork. And so the Panamanian government needs somewhere to put them. I should add a couple
Julie,
of things.
I mean, no, please do.
Yeah, I want to say that, what this comes from is that, the Trump administration, as so many people know, has made these big promises to deport so many people from the United States, but it really struggles to deport folks from Afghanistan, from China, from Iran for these reasons that we're talking about. And so it has basically created an arrangement with the Panamanian government. The Panamanian government is under intense pressure to please the Trump administration, in which the Panamanian government says, okay, we'll take your most difficult cases. Now, those most difficult cases are the challenge of the Panamanian government, which upon receiving these people has locked them in that hotel, then transferred some of them to this jungle camp. And we are told has not allowed them access to lawyers or given them any indication of when they will be allowed to have any kind of freedom, if any at all.
So with all of these realities, is there any law in any country that these human beings can exist under?
Sure. These human beings exist under many different laws. When they're in the United States, they are subject to U.S. law. When they're in Panama, they should be subject to Panamanian law. In Panama, lawyers tell us that it is illegal to hold people for more than 24 hours without a court order. And the Panamanian government has basically not told us under what sort of legal framework they are holding these people. What the Panamanian government has said, and the security minister said this morning, is that these people are being held essentially for their own safety and for the safety of the Panamanian people.